Good morning. Congratulations to each of you. You're being nominated to a very important function that hasn't worked very well in recent years, but we're getting it back up and running again to serve a very useful purpose that it does. It's a bipartisan agency created by Congress over 40 years ago to promote transparency and proportionality in federal sentencing. This mandate works to ensure that the laws are applied equally and that Congress is informed in making evidence-based policy decisions about sentencing. The Sentencing Commission was established and amends sentencing guidelines, which, while non-binding, also assist federal judges in handing down those sentences. Since the end of 2018, however, the Commission hasn't been able to amend the guidelines because it lacks the requisite number of commissions for a quorum. Today's slates of nominees, if confirmed, could revive the agency to do what it was set up to do. As the Sentencing Commission's acting chair, Judge Breyer, recently wrote, quote, "A reconstituted Sentencing Commission is entitled to ensuring fairness and effectiveness of federal sentencing guidelines and policies," end of quote. So with that in mind, I'm looking forward to learning from today's witnesses. At the outset, it's important for our nominees to know that I believe the Sentencing Commission must remain a bipartisan and independent agency. It should be laser focused in following empirical evidence and congressional intent when amending the guidelines or issuing statements. In addition, I expect members of the Sentencing Commission to take on the critical task of implementing the First Step Act. Chairman Durbin and I worked on this landmark criminal justice bill, but because of the lack of quorum, some parts of the law haven't been updated in the guidelines, such as changes to compassionate release. The Commission's acting chair noted that, quote, "In the absence of updated policy guidance from the Commission, courts have filled the void themselves, but unlikely in a uniform manner contemplated by the First Step Act," end of quote. A consistent and accurate application of the law is necessary for building trust and consistency in federal sentencing and for implementing the First Step Act as intended. A functioning commission is critical in stepping up to the plate, is of course a very hefty task that they have. Getting the First Step Act signed into law requires buy-in from nearly all members of the Congress, the White House, and federal agencies. But since the passage in 2018, a number of federal judges have interpreted the law beyond its intent. I hope today's nominees agree with me on the importance of faithful adherence to our First Step Act and will work to ensure updates to the guidelines reflected the text of the law. As a champion of criminal justice reform, I'm pleased to participate in today's hearing. I thank the chairman for convening the hearing, for the White House for taking into consideration my staff's recommendations, and for our nominees for stepping up to the plate to serve on the Sentencing Commission. I look forward to your testimony. Could I also say something about an Iowan? I also want to welcome Laura Mate to the Judiciary Committee. Although she works for the Sentencing Resource Council Project in the Federal Public Defender for the District of Arizona's office, her home is in Iowa. She worked on the sentencing-related issues and on sentencing guidelines for over a decade, so I know she has experience in this area. I'm looking forward to hearing more from her today about her prospective role on the Sentencing Commission. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator.